So I was wrong about the 2020 election, but I was right about Trump plus 5% on the polls, so there you go. Will also look like I was right on the first day. I was like, yes, but no. Now, some fun facts. The highest voter turnout gain in any U.S. presidential election in history, from one election to the next, because it was like plus 13% voter turnout. Trump, since 1888, Grover Cleveland, is the first incumbent president to gain votes, still lose. Because Barack Obama in 2012, for a recent example, lost votes, still won. Second most votes ever, by the way, Trump 2020. And I think that, first of all, if COVID doesn't happen, he wins easily. I hope most people realize that. I think if he's a little less squirrely, also probably wins. Just like squeaks it out. Now, moving forward. Damn. America has been divided for a long time, for 20 years now, since 2000. And I think I should just say, it might be time for like the West Coast to become its own country. Because 1871, that's a really good run, you know? It's like 150 years, richest country on earth. Maybe it's just time. Maybe it's just time. You know, don't know who would take over that place. Well, actually, no. It would be China, so it's not great. Things that I've learned. Media coverage. I just want objective media coverage. Is that so hard to ask? You got CTV and CBC in Canada, and they have these people on that are just like these extremists and outlandish people. I don't think it's great that we have Jagmeet Singh, who is never going to become prime minister, and that's why he says controversial things. But he jumps on the Trump train and calling him a white supremacist, and you're really diluting the word. You're a lawyer, Jagmeet, stop it. You know, you hold the balance of power, and that's disturbing to me. Because you're doing the same exact thing. You're using this extremist rhetoric, okay, on both sides. You look at county maps in the United States, which is the best way to judge how people are voting, like by counties. And the urban-rural divide is insane. Biden gained 20-25% voter turnout in some of these cities. And Trump didn't lose any votes. So statistically, I didn't work in statistics for too long, but I worked long enough to understand statistically this election was weird. Voter turn, like the mail-in ballots. Okay, so before the election, the Democrats were 60-40% in terms of registered Democrats requesting mail-in ballots. And then during the election time, it was like 85%, 90% Biden. So like a lot of those registered Republicans, I guess, just decided to stand in long lines. These long lines in America. And the final point, the bastion of democracy. Literally those words I've heard on so many U.S. networks. And I get it. It's pro-nationalist propaganda. Every country wants to be proud of itself. But it's delusional. Okay, and I'm talking from an objective perspective. There's a thing called the Democracy Index, which measures like, you know, public access and how many choices you have. Like a two-party system is, by definition, not as democratic as like a five-party system, right? It's 24th America in terms of the Democracy Index. And it's from 1 to 10. It's closer to democracies like South Africa and Argentina, because it's 7.96 out of 10, than it is to a democracy like Canada, which is over 9. Look, it shouldn't be a new thing that the world looks at a U.S. election and says, you know, what's the deal? Third party, okay? I can talk about this for 20 more years. You need a third party. Can you imagine a third party in Congress or the Senate? By the way, the Democrats need, if they win both of their Senate seats in a Georgia runoff in early January, they'll have control of the Senate. It'll be 50-50, but the VP will have a tie-breaking vote. And I think the Democrats are screwed for 2024. You know, pick your poison. You can either pass a bunch of bills and the Republicans will use it against you, or you don't get control of the Senate and you can't do anything and the Republicans will use it against you. Or the progressive wing of the Democrats will use it against you. So 2024, Biden becomes a third guy not to seek re-election. Since, you know, Calvin Coolidge, LBJ, they could have ran again, but they decided not to. So Kamala Harris probably is a Democratic nominee. So the Republicans, maybe Donald Trump comes back. Maybe it's Ivanka Trump. And Ivanka Trump versus Kamala Harris 2024, I'd put my money on Ivanka, like, in a bludgeoning. Because I don't see how Harris wins that election. But that's me. So interesting times. But no, for sure, like, what is it called? Cascadia on the west coast of California and Oregon and Washington, like, just break away from their own country, would be the fifth biggest economy in the world, actually, if they did that. So fun times ahead. Maybe I'll do more of these videos. I don't know.